This video is about exponents. Here are 3 examples of powers. You notice that these bottom numbers, like the 3, the x, the m, those are the bases. The other numbers that are up there, 7, 5, and 11, those are the exponents, the powers. Okay? Can you name the base and the exponent for each of these? So first, what are the bases? What are the powers or the exponents? Those are the bases, s, 6, and y. The powers are 2, 3, and -5. The base of a power is a factor of a number. The exponent tells us how many times the base is multiplied times itself to create the number. For example, 8 to the 3rd power means 8 times 8 times 8, which is 512. N to the 5th power means there are 5 factors of n. So that means you just write them out with 5 n's. There are some special properties with exponents. As long as the powers have the same base, there are special rules that can be followed when performing mathematical operations. So we're going to look at some of these, some patterns to determine the rules. But first, which of the powers have the same bases? As you see, they'll start moving. The x's will all go together, and now the 7's are moving. The 2's in the y's. Now that you've matched the ones that have the same bases, you can start finding the rules for the powers. Let's look at some examples for multiplying exponents. 2 to the 2nd power times 2 to the 4th power. 2 to the 2nd power is 2 times 2. 2 to the 4th means there are 4 2's. So if you count them up, you find out that there are 6 2's altogether. That's where I come up with 2 to the 6th power. Now n to the 3rd times n to the 2nd. You have 3 n's and then 2 n's. To find your answer, how many total n's do you have? It ends up being 5. N to the 5th power. What rule are you seeing happen, or what pattern are you seeing happen with the exponents when the bases are the same? So let's look here at this one. I've got x to the 3rd power and y, x to the 4th power and y to the 2nd. First off, how many x's are there? You see that there are 7 x's. And if you notice, 3 up at the top in the original problem, 3 plus 4 is 7. I get x to the 7th. I have 3 y's. Well, the first one, that's just 1 y, and that's y to the 2nd. Total, you have 3 y's. And so your answer is x to the 7th, y to the 3rd. On this one, on the next problem, you notice you have 2 coefficients. 3 times 4, you treat that as normal. 3 times 4, well, first I guess we'll write them out. 3, and then r to the 3rd power means 3 r's. And then 4 and r to the 5th means there's 5 r's. 3 times 4 gives you 12. Then you add up the amount of r's you have, or you add the exponents, which gives you r to the 8th power. Can you see the connection? As we go through, and if the bases are the same and you are multiplying, you add the exponents. Now, take a minute, pause the video, and answer these 4 questions. There are the answers that you should have gotten for your 4 problems. Now when we are dividing, you see that we have 5 to the 7th over 5 to the 3rd. That means we have 7 5s on top and 3 on the bottom. To simplify, we can cancel out. Those 5s cancel each other out, and then you look and see how many 5s are you left with. The answer is 5 to the 4th power. Well, n to the 8th divided by n to the 6th, you have 8 n's on top, 6 on the bottom, and they cross each other out. And how many are you left with? You're left with n to the 2nd power. Well, what's happening to these exponents? How in the top one right here am I going from 7 to, what am I doing to 7 and the 3 to get to 4? What am I doing to 8 to 6 to get to the 2? Here's a couple more examples. X to the 5th over x to the 8th. I cross out the x's that are on the top and the bottom, and I see what I'm left with. Well, there was nothing on the left on the top, so you have to hold its place with a 1. Then you have 3 x's on the bottom. That is 1 over x to the 3rd. It also can be rewritten as x to the negative 3. The next problem, you notice this one has lead coefficients of 20 and 4. You would take 20 divided by 4, just like we would a regular number, and get 5. Divide out the r's, and you have 5 over r to the 1st power, or you can just rewrite it as 5 over r. It also can be written as 5r to the negative 1. Let me remove this down here so that it's easier to see. This problem, look at 3 over 9. Okay, I guess first what we're going to do is write it all out. So we have x to the 5th and y to the 2nd. Now, right here, what do you notice? What does 3/9 reduce to? That should reduce to a fraction where you get 1 over 3, or 1/3. And the other letters, they cross each other out, and you rewrite what you're left with. You notice you have 2 x's on top and 2 y's on the bottom. You get x squared over 3y to the 2nd power. So like we were saying, on the other one, now look, what's the pattern? How do you get from 7 and 3 to 4? How do you get from 8 to 6 to get a 2? Well, all you're doing when you're dividing is you are subtracting the exponents. Here are 4 more problems for you to pause the video and try and answer. There are the answers that you could have gotten for 1 through 4. I will say that for number 2, you could have gotten t to the negative 3. Number 4, you could have gotten z squared y to the negative 5. Those still would have been correct answers as well. In your own notes, write down the answers to the following questions in your own words. Explain what a power, base, and an exponent are, and give an example. How do you multiply using exponents? Give your own example. How do you divide using exponents? Give your own example of this one.